Welcome to the show where you get blitzed by all the latest Detroit sports news.
I'm your host, Marcus, joined by your other host, Jay. And man, this Detroit Lions season has been already a roller coaster, honestly. We're only 3 weeks into the season, but it's looking up, honestly. It kind of started a little rocky with week 1 there. But, after last season's performance, 15-2, of course, unfortunately bounced out of the divisional round, sucks, injuries, attrition, yada, yada, yada. You've heard it probably all,
You kept up it all, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're just kind of going to recap kind of the season so far, these first 3 weeks. So I guess we'll just take it back to week 1, and see what we kind of saw week 1. What was your kind of like observations of that game?
Week 1, we took an L to the Packers, obviously 13-27. The Packers have gotten a lot better. I'll say that. Packers, I think they've never really been a joke team. They've always been pretty serious, and clearly they proved once again that they're a fairly serious contender for NFC North.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, the last 2 years we've been the king of the North, if you will. We've won the division 2 years in a row, and the Packers have always been like kind of the runner-up team, right behind us. And I think now they're actually like catching up at this point. Because last year we went like undefeated against them, and they were like, it wasn't even like they were bad either. They were good. They got into the playoffs, bounced out of the first round, unfortunately. Or fortunately for us. Fuck the Packers. But but yeah, I mean, they're definitely like, a lot of people think they're in contention for a Super Bowl this season, which I wouldn't jump to that conclusion personally.
I don't know about
Definitely
that.
no bias here. But I definitely got a squad for sure.
You come for Lions news. You don't want to hear shit like that.
Hey, we're putting up, plain facts. They're pretty good, honestly. This year.
They're good.
But who
They're
knows?
good.
Who knows? They did lose to the Browns last week, so all right, come on.
Well, shit. Yeah.
Who the fuck loses to the Browns? Come on. But
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. We are going, bro. If we eat those words today,
fucking hell, yeah. No, I didn't say that. Sorry. Fuck. Where's the wood?
They lose. We're gonna take that out of the video completely.
Yeah.
Cut it out almost.
But yeah, I don't know if you saw week 1. I watched it live. I was pretty, there was a lot of anticipation going in this season. Coming off the back of our 15-2 season, best record we've ever had, tied with the Chiefs. Got the number 1 seed, first time in franchise history, and we were able to skip the wild card round, and then we just get bounced by fucking rookie Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. Which, that game, what a horrible loss that was, man. I was so fucking devastated after that shit. But it's a new season, new year. We got all our most of our defensive players back now, which was really the main problem last season. They're just like a record number of players on IR, like 20 plus. I'm pretty sure it was. You just can't win a Super Bowl with that.
No, we wouldn't have gotten there. Realistically,
yeah.
No defense. No, there's no chance. You need defense, obviously.
Defense wins championships, man. Your
sure.
offense gets you, so far, but your defense needs to step up,
Yeah, you need decent defense, or else you really can't do anything.
But speaking of decent defense, Green Bay definitely showed what they're capable of week 1, and I think that was a big reason of why we lost that game. Was pretty much our offense just couldn't get anything started. The run game was just completely dry for the most part. We couldn't get the run game established. And when you can't get the run game established, especially for the Lions, you can't get the passing game and the explosive plays downfield because of it. They were just stuffing the run. We couldn't get anything. They held both, Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery to 5 yards a carry, or not even a carry. I think I think it was 50 yards total in the entire game, which is insane. Combine those two like running backs, we got like a two-headed beast, and they held him to 50, which is crazy.
No, it was insane. I mean, really, it was a good game. I liked the game. It was a good game. I'd say,
Are you a Packers fan, bro? The
yeah,
fuck?
I know. Yeah,
That was not a good game.
it was a good game to watch. Obviously, it was a entertaining game to watch. Did we lose? Yeah, but you can lose and still enjoy the game. Like, you know what I mean?
You might be on your own island on that one, but I mean,
Really?
yeah, it was horrible, man. I'm assuming you probably just didn't watch it too much, or like maybe you saw a few highlights, but like,
Yeah, I saw mostly highlights. I couldn't watch that one.
no,
I will.
we were. I'm pretty sure we were like, I think at half we were like down at least 2 scores or something. I'm not sure of the exact numbers specifically on that, but
Oh, I didn't. I didn't notice. I didn't know it was that bad.
yeah,
Straight up.
we had to settle, I think, for 2 field goals pretty much in the first half. Which, when you have to settle for a field goal, it's like, okay, but like, you want to ideally on every drive get down in the end zone and score a touchdown. That's how you win games.
That's how you.
And
That's how you win.
we were held off to field goals, and we only got a touchdown in like garbage time in like the fourth quarter, and that was when we had Mr. Isaac Tesla himself catch the most insane one-handed pass touchdown, which almost wasn't going to be a touchdown, but I mean, hey, what a crazy first pass for an NFL rookie. That kid's going to do great things for our team this season. I can't wait for that kid.
I was talking to my buddy, I think yesterday. We were talking about Tesla. He's an insane up and comer, dude. He's looking really good.
For sure, and he's like Western Michigan, born and raised. It's like
Yeah, he's
perfect match, be a Lion.
match made in heaven. Really, I mean, it's great.
For real, bro. I mean, can't ask for anything better. But so yeah, pretty much the story of that game, to sum it up, is our O-line. We got a new center. Unfortunately, Frank Ragnow retired preseason. Multiple time Pro Bowler. Kind of the anchor of the O-line. We lost him, so things were naturally going to be a bit rocky, and it definitely showed on our first week. Our O-line just couldn't keep it together. Goff was getting pressured way too much. He was having to, release that ball, way too quickly, and we just couldn't get any yardage or anything explosive at all. And a big part of that too was Micah Parsons, of course, the huge trade to Green Bay from the Dallas Cowboys. That was huge, and he got his first sack against Goff that game. So I mean, hey, I guess the trade worked out. So, but yeah, that game was pretty ugly. So everyone was kind of like, I think me included, if I'm being honest, was a little bit worried about how the season was going to transpire just based off of that first week performance. But as we saw in week 2 against the Bears, our worries were definitely, not founded, if you will. Like, we just fucking blew the Bears out of the water. I think, what was it, like a 50, I think that game was a 55-21 or something like that. Are you able to pull that up?
Remarkably close. It is a 52-21. We
52. I thought it was 55.
No, it's 52.
Okay. Yeah, I think it is 52 actually. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we put the 50 burger on their ass.
I don't think they. I was watching a thing, right? I watched a video. It was from a Chicago Bears guy, big Chicago Bears fan. Mm-hmm. He was pissed. I mean, he was mad at his team rather than like the Lions. It's just like they definitely haven't been on their best game.
No, Bears have been in purgatory for like so long now, and even with like, I'm sure you maybe know or maybe not know that our OC, offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson, left, along with our defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, to head coaching jobs. Aaron Glenn went to the Jets, and then Ben Johnson is now the Chicago head coach after Matt Eberflus was fired halfway through the season last year. So they thought, he could turn things around because Ben Johnson did wondrous things for our offense, over the past 2 years. First in points scored and all kinds of records set for our offense, and just innovative play calling, inventive plays and trick plays and all kinds of shit. So a lot of people thought like us losing him was gonna be we were gonna suck ass, and then Chicago would turn things around with him as a head coach, but evidently enough, just the same
Not
old,
enough.
same old. We don't need Ben Johnson, and we could still put up 50 points.
I wanted to put this good. I believe it was Lion Syndicate. He had mentioned Ben Johnson's like a traitor.
Oh
I think he
yeah,
called it
the
a traitor.
snake
But
snake Ben Johnson is
yeah,
the name there.
it's hilarious. It's hilarious because I mean that's just a straight up L for them. I mean that's like a horrible. That's like what 30 points, more than 30 points. That's 31 points
Yep,
over them. That's
they were just nowhere near close in that entire game. I think we were only tied once, and it was like 7-7, and that was like the first quarter or something. And after that, it was just lights out. They weren't
it's just
catching
good
us.
night. Yeah,
But yeah,
it was
so week 2 was just a huge boost of confidence, and like the fact that our Detroit Lions offense is definitely capable of putting up the same numbers and getting the explosive plays downfield they were able to last season. What we're known for. Um, just a masterclass of an offensive performance. I think no sacks allowed against Goff, which was like a big reason why we won that game and put up so many points. Because if you can't get to Goff, he's just gonna slice you and dice you up. That's what he does. He just slings that fucking ball, picks apart the defense, and the rest is history. But yeah, so that's week 1 and 2, and then week 3 was probably one of the best games I ever fucking watched. I don't know if you watched it either.
I saw that straight up live on jeez, I think it was Fox. I'm like fairly sure it was Fox. It was on Sling.
I don't remember honestly what I know it's Monday Night Football. I forget what fucking network hosts that. If I'm being honest, I think it's like
I think it was Fox. I'm not
I
positive.
thought it was CBS, but I'm not sure.
It very well might have been CBS. I am not sure.
Let me actually
I
double check this.
feel like I watched it for a long enough time. I should probably remember what network it
It
was on.
says it's ESPN, but I don't know.
I think it was ESPN. I think that's where I watched it. Was ESPN.
All right.
They just kept doing sports through the whole thing, so I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, week 3 game was huge, like hugely anticipated game. You got the Ravens that, for the past few years have been Super Bowl favorites, with Lamar Jackson, generational quarterback, dual threat, one of the best, rushing quarterbacks we've seen of all time. And, they're a force to be reckoned with, especially with Derrick Henry now, with running back, King Henry, if you will, what they call him.
Yeah, they're a stacked team for sure.
Yeah,
They're
and so it was going to be a shootout, and it definitely delivered. It was definitely a shootout. Final score 38-30, I believe. So yeah, we definitely racked up the points, but holy shit. The biggest thing about this game, aside from our offense being able to put together like long sustained drives, like I think we had the longest drive since like 2011 in our franchise history. It was like a 9-minute, almost 10-minute drive in I think the second quarter, and that's huge when you can eat up the clock like that. Eat the time away from your opponent like that and possess the ball and just keep it moving down the field. I think it was a 98-yard and 96-yard march down the field. We had 2 really, really long drives that we completed with a touchdown, which is huge, But the biggest story I feel like from that game, aside from that, was our defense just stepped it the fuck up, man. I like our defense is always kind of been like the part that's kind of little brother to the offense, kind of the main theme of our team, and we got our star players like Hutch, 97, how it is, and you got fucking Lee McNeil, our safety core, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph. You can go on, and we
St. Brown.
just, yep. I mean, well, St. Brown's offense.
Oh wow, yeah.
You can't. Hey, don't never forget about the Sun God. He's fucking like half the reason why we get a first down half the time.
He fucking awesome, especially the Ravens game. Holy shit.
Oh yeah, and then he did that little thug shake. That shit made rounds on Twitter, bro. That shit was so funny.
Yeah.
And
I don't want to talk about that. How the fuck you do that?
insert clip editor. Hello.
But throw it on. Put it on.
But yeah, our defense, we got what was it, 7 sacks on Lamar, which is insane. I think that's like tied with all-time sacks on Lamar, and Lamar is a really shifty quarterback. It is super hard to sack him, and for us to do that 7 fucking times is insane. Like, I didn't even imagine that in my wildest dreams. I think a lot of that's to credit to our new, defensive coordinator, Kelvin Shepard. He's doing a fantastic job so far, honestly. Our last DC, Aaron Gunn, was great and all, but man, I think we found a definite step up in Kelvin Shepard in that position. And on top of the 7 sacks, right, we also had that fumble against Derrick Henry in the fourth quarter, which was an insane punch out by Hutch. I went fucking bananas after that shit happened. I was so ecstatic. It was insane, bro.
Insane. Oh, it was an insane game. I remember it was even. It started out. We were overtaking them, and then if I'm not wrong, they came back. I think they were ahead of us at one point. Yeah. And then we just jumped right there, and we were just there. And then it was a wash at that point. There was nothing they could do.
Yeah, I mean that's what you gotta do in the NFL. You gotta answer back. If you don't answer back, you're probably your chances of winning go down drastically.
It was great.
Yeah, super great game. And yeah, I mean, I think it's just a good sign of things to come here this season. My one kind of intrusive thing, if I had to say anything, is I hope that isn't the peak of what we have in store this season, because you don't want to ever peak early in the season. You want to gradually work up, and hopefully by the end, as Dan Campbell says often, be playing your best football going into the playoffs, because that's obviously when it matters the most. That's when you got to get the job done.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this next coming matchup with the Browns. What do you like? What are you thinking about that matchup? You think any predictions or anything or thoughts?
I think that the Browns are definitely. I'd have to say the Browns are they're a good team. I think after what we just saw with the Baltimore Ravens, I think that we have a really good shot at that. I think we have a far better than what I would have said coming out of week 1 or even week 2. I think we have a good shot with the Cleveland Browns. I think that we're almost definitely going to win. Like we said earlier, who doesn't beat the Browns? Who loses to the Browns? I think we got a good opportunity there. I think that if we fall to that and we lose it, I'm gonna be pretty mad.
Yeah, it's gonna suck. I mean, at the very least, we wouldn't have a losing record. We'd be 2-2, which still is bad, but come on,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a good test for our offense because, we kind of faltered in week 1 against, a good Green Bay defense. And I'm not sure if you're aware, but Cleveland, from what a lot of people are saying, has practically the number 1 defense right now, which is kind of wild. It's they're night and day when it comes to both sides of the ball. Their defense is just up here and their fucking offense is all the way down here. And that's part of the reason why they just can't win anything. But their defense keeps them in the game, just solely based off their just defensive play. And a lot of that is a credit to just their roster, man. They got Myles Garrett, which is one of the best, defensive ends in the NFL right now. He's just a fucking absolute animal. And they got a bunch of other playmakers on there. It's just going to be a super good test to see if our O-line is actually, able to hold up. And hopefully, week 1 was just kind of a fluke for them to get things together, and hopefully now they've like gelled enough at this point. And I think they have, honestly. I think they'll be all right probably. I have confidence that we'll be able to win this one. It could be a close game if I'm, all things considered, but who knows? Maybe our defense steps it up in comparison and like gets a bunch of like takeaways to kind of help us out. You know what I mean? Like, what if it's like one of those games where like our offense isn't the one who puts up a lot of the points, it's our defense? That'd be crazy. But you'd have to get pick sixes. Those are pretty hard to come by as it is. I mean, yeah. So that's like the first 3 weeks. Definitely like on the up and up here. But yeah, I think that'll pretty much wrap things up for this first episode. It kind of went a bit longer than expected, but all good. Yes. Any last words you want to dish out or anything?
No, I will say, to everyone who stayed through everything, thank you. So go Lions.
Hell yeah, baby. One pride.
One pride.